So with our handsome Mr. Z, ready Zeus? We were gonna warm up with some leave-its today. So I know we've mentioned a little bit with leave-its last session. So remember that with a leave-it behavior, these are gonna be things that are always off limits. So these would be things that could be dangerous, things that we shouldn't engage with, things that are just off limits. If you ever wanna have your puppy hold back and then go and gain an item, so like go pick up a toy, retrieve an item, go eat something from their food dish or whatever it might be, I like to typically use then my wait cue. So wait would be hold back, sir or madam, until I release you to go grab that thing or to come to me. So with leave it, that's going to be things that are always off limits. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my no-no items. And I know we worked this a little bit, nice job, Sarah, with Mr. T last time. But I'm going to grab his leash. And I would recommend that, remember that if leave-its tend to be you squealing in the background, like I've mentioned in the past, your puppy is not figuring out what not to do. They're either just realizing that at times you get a little bit peculiar or scary, and that sometimes leave-its is a threatening situation, and then it might actually create the resource guarding or the gulping behavior we're trying to avoid in the first place. So we're going to do a bit with our leave-it behaviors. So I'm going to grab Mr. Z's little leash over here. So if, let's say, Zeus gets a little excited, which he's been doing a really nice job, I might get a little sit. He's like, yes, beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and leash up the handsome guy. And then he can even just leave his lead dragging for a second. So for no-no items, I normally would recommend to plant out some of these, again, leave it items prior to going into the bubble with your puppy. So I know with Mr. T, I had, for example, my leash on. He's like, leash wedgies. And then, so let's say, for example, if there's ever items, so hopefully he's not allowed to play with recycling. I didn't remember to double check. No items should always be off limits. If at times your puppy is allowed to play with a leave it item and then not, it could confuse them for later. When you say leave it, they might think, oh, well, you just mean leave it for now, but I'll go grab it in a moment. And then that can set them up for, by accident, disengaging from the leave it and going right into eating or playing or consuming the no item. So let's say Mr. Z, to prevent him from going and chasing the no item, I'm going to plop it where hopefully everybody can see it okay. So I have my lovely trash item. I'm going to go ahead while my puppy's on gear, get his attention on me, and then we're going to try to walk near that thing. So let's say in the beginning your puppy's doing an amazing job just working loose leash walking next to you or nearby. We're going to go ahead and as we loop around, come near the leave it item. Ready, Zeus? Nice. So great little name recognition. So right here, as he notices the item, we're going to go leave it, yes, and then feed for that disengagement. So in the beginning, if your puppy doesn't quite know what to do right here, leave it, yes, is you're probably going to do several lovely reps, because remember, just like with us, the way we start to get really good at something is by doing it over and over for practice sake. Nice. So if, let's say in the beginning, he's like, I'm dropping all my snacks. Let's say your puppies in the beginning need to start off further away from the leave it. Remember, distance is your friend. So a lot of times right here, leave it, yes. If your puppy started by walking in the hallway of your home and the leave it item was right there and they had to pass by it by almost stepping on it, more than likely the leave it item is going to end up in your puppy's mouth. We're practicing, sorry, my little one's asking, why do we have a plastic bottle on the floor? Zeus is practicing leave-its, which means don't play with it. So he's learning to leave something alone. So again, here's Mr. Z. He's very interested in what I have to offer, which is splendid. Remember too, and I know I've mentioned this in the past, is think about your food as having value to your puppy in different sort of tiers. So if, let's say, you were doing this and he found this to be immensely hard and you were simply feeding him kibble, he may say, you know what, kibble's not as exciting. I can get that all the time. That new thing over there seems much more intriguing. I'd rather ignore the food item, which could be your kibble, and go right for the no item. So I would highly recommend to have a variety, ready? A variety of food items so you can give your puppy the paycheck he might find equivalent for the work. So I'm going to see if I can walk past it over here. So right here, leave it. And let's say you got on top of it and puppy grabs the item like I mentioned earlier. Obviously, if this was something really dangerous, you'd go, ready, Zeus? and go right into a little find it, and hopefully everybody can see him. And if he's out of camera range, I did my little positive interrupter. And then from there, I had him go right into a nice big, ready? Leave it. Yes. Into a nice big find it behavior. So if at times, oops, you get too close to your leave it item and your puppy goes and grabs it or checks it out, make sure that, again, if it's a gulping scenario where your pup has shown signs that they will swallow things whole. Oh, we got a lost snack off in the distance. Got to go get it. So if your puppy, ready? Nice, tends to be a gulper, I'd always recommend to start off with big leave it items that are safe for your puppy to try being near. And if they happen to get on top of it, they can't actually swallow it by mistake. So you'll see that with Mr. Handsome, I'm actually just working him on the same side as the leave it the whole time mostly. Yes. So he can start to view the no item and start to instead hone in on me versus the distraction. So there's a bottle, leave it. Yes. Notice how, again, I let him figure it out. So this doesn't mean as I say leave it, I get loud and scary and intimidating, because if you use what I call as your possessed voice for leave it's, your puppy might just start to think that you also have an issue with resource guarding or some aggression towards novel items, and that you get a bit flustering or overwhelming. So I would recommend, ready, to make sure you're using your nonchalant, easy-go-lucky voice. And again, here's my no item. Nice, and we walked right by it. So you can start to practice automatic leave it's, which means that pretty much anything on the ground is an automatic leave it until decided otherwise. But I find it can be really helpful to practice with a couple different visual items and rotate. So let's say a lot of puppies tend to go for paper products. I'm going to go ahead and do a little find it off in the distance. Plop out my no item, which is now a tissue. Nice, good job. And again, the only reason I'm doing those find it's is to get Mr. Z off and distracted, so he doesn't think that me dropping something equals more intriguement, or he might rush the no item. Did we lose a snack? He's like, maybe. So he's like, no, that was not food. So here's my trash, again, off on the side. If he's more interested in what I'm rocking, which again is being fed for checking in, beautiful. Feed for all those great little moments. So right here, I'm going to pass by the paper product. And again, he doesn't quite know we're rocking it yet. He's just thinking it's fun to be near the snack lady. So again, right here, we go, leave it. Zeus. Yes, good boy. So you'll see that if he doesn't respond, I'm sorry if my mic is bumping me. If he doesn't respond, make sure to say your secondary little cue word to get his focus back on you. So that tends to be either your kissy noise, your little positive interrupter, or it could be his name to help him bounce back. Later, as he gets more refined, simply saying leave it is what you're doing. So right there, yes. Nice. Smart boy. So we'll try again from this side. Beautiful. And right now he's just doing some really gorgeous loose leash walking as well. But then again, here's our tissue. So I'm going to go again. Oh, you beat me. Nice job. So if, let's say, he on his own decides, you know what, I'd rather just check in with the crazy snack lady versus going and checking out the no item, I definitely would feed him for that and might even jackpot it with several, snacks, one right after the other. Beautiful right there. Nice. Good decisions. So remember, puppies don't inherently understand what is right, what is wrong, because dogs are amoral. They're going to do whatever brings them joy, comfort, feelings of safety, or reinforcement from their perspective. So if it's more fun to ignore you as you're squealing in the background while your puppy then goes and chases a bunny, or goes and eats bunny poop, or goes and snags a tissue and then has a great time ripping it up, then that would probably be a behavior that your puppy will want to do again over and over. So remember, part of it is also managing what my puppy can and can't do. Did it get stuck in your jowl? But then the other part of it is showing them what you'd rather. Nice, good job. So he's doing a really good job with some of these leave it's. We'll see if we can do a little pass by through the front area. Nice, what a good boy. So again, we'll just pass by the item. So right there, leave it. Yes. And notice how my leash is staying nice and relaxed. So I know a lot of folks try to use their gear to create behavior. That's actually not really that beneficial, because of the fact that later your babes are more than likely going to be off of gear. So if your dog gets in the habit of thinking the only time we can focus is when there's leash corrections or pops or restraining, then your puppy, when they're off lead, doesn't have that same feel, and therefore maybe they can't perform the same way, or they don't understand that it's not the same exercise. So I normally, when I have gear on, have it be very benign, that I don't make the gear tell the puppy what to do. It's just there for safety reasons. So right here, we're passing by those leave-its. Nice. And again, when you're working through leave-it behaviors, yes, good check-in, is you could go ahead and start this off first with very simplistic leave-it. So right here, yes, smart boy. So he's starting to figure out that when he goes and notices the item, but then let's say, yes, checks back in. That was also a little bit, remember how we mentioned leash pressure? I think it was the day prior, with if your puppy tends to blow through your gear, which means that they apply a lot of pressure and they pull, that teaching your puppy that when they feel tension on the equipment, it means to come check back in. That could be immensely helpful for helping your puppy, for example, be soft on gear. So if your puppy tends to be like a brick house on wheels and you feel like you have very little control, normally a puppy that's struggling to that extent means they don't understand loose leash walking. They also don't know how to cope with the new skill in those really trying environments. So if you're finding that your puppy is really having a rough time with something, remember to either lower the criteria and then also try to practice the behaviors before you need them so your puppy knows what to do before the real world situation. So if you cannot do loose leash walking in and around your home, that would be the first place to start before going to your field trips, which could be your front yard, your side yard, your driveway, a few houses on your strip of your neighborhood. But if you're going from point A to point B and trying to exercise the puppy, but they're hauling and pulling and barking or doing things you don't love, then remember your puppy's growing into those skills, not growing out of them. So whatever your babe is able to practice, Zeus, come, they're getting good at. Nice job, sir. So if you, again, don't love what your puppy is rehearsing, we, being the teachers, have to show the student what to do instead, because obviously from his perspective, he doesn't understand. So we want to make sure, set them up for success, go at their rate of understanding and ability, and then you will have a beautiful end result into adulthood. Ready? Zeus, come. Yes, what a good boy. Smart man. So give Mr. Z a little breather. There's some really nice practice with him today, and then we'll do some more fun skills in a bit.